Hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday, and welcome to your practical application of astrology and personal story share. So, today is Christmas Eve, and I don't have any more clients. I'm taking a 1 week off, so I'm just gonna chill over here. But I decided to record my practical application of astrology because it's something I really actually enjoy doing. And I do hope that somebody finds a value in it and it resonates with somebody out there going through similar experiences. And this week and also the upcoming week are astrologically crazy busy. There is a lot going on in the sky, so a lot of people might be feeling a little bit of overwhelm, especially with everything else that's going on with the holidays and everything. So I have some thoughts to share with regards to all of that. But I just wanted to mention what's been going on this week. Of course, we had Mercury now retrograde made a second trine to Jupiter. Of course, now we are redefining, reevaluating. Actually, as of yesterday, Mercury is back in the sign of Sagittarius. Then we had the Venus in opposition with Uranus on a solstice. Mercury made its second sextile to Saturn. Sun, of course, moved into the sign of Capricorn, so we are now officially in Capricorn season. Mercury conjuncted Sun just before Mercury retrograded back into Sagittarius. And then today we have the Sun-Saturn sextile, and tomorrow on Christmas Day we have the ruler of the North Node, Mars, making a trine to the North Node, and ruler of the South Node, Venus, South Node, what we're letting go of, making a trine to Neptune, Neptune, the one that dissolves. So this is all I'm going to say about that. Of course, I already have released my astrological forecast for next week, which is mostly oriented at the full moon in Cancer that we are experiencing on the 26th night, 27th morning, depending where you are, Tuesday night, Wednesday early morning, depending on your time zone. And that, of course, is a point of illumination of what we've been realizing or discovering in the past 5.5, 6 months since the new moon in Cancer, which took place on the July 17th when we had the nodal shift. So this week has definitely been interesting with everything that's been popping up, and me being a Cancer moon, I'm always feeling the moons long before they even take place. So of course, as usual, being in my Cancer cave over here, I've been very introspective. I've been really limiting my interactions with the outside world. I even muted all my notifications on all my apps, so I don't actually go answering people's messages and replying to emails unless I'm in a good place in doing so, because there is this pressure in our society that you receive a message, you need to respond straight away. Everything is so fast and so immediate, and it doesn't really allow much of a consideration on like where you at, where you actually at, how do you feel today, do you actually have something to give, are you in the right space of mind to respond, or is it just something like, okay, let me do this quickly, so so it's off my list or something, where you would probably do it in a different way if you would have time or were in a better state of mind. So this is something that I've been applying in my life, in my practical application of astrology. Now Mercury being retrograde, and as I mentioned, it's back in the sign of Sagittarius as of yesterday, so we are doing a lot of reevaluation, a lot of redefinition, and there are two main topics that's been coming up for me, whether through my environment, interaction with people close to me, or my clients. And one of them is I already was talking about some of them in my last video, which was about, how do we value ourselves? Are we putting ourselves first or last, or where are we in our list of priorities? And the things that seems to be quite interesting to observe is how many people feel guilty, guilty and ashamed when they actually do give themselves a time off or buy something to themselves, like straight away, especially people with children, straight away they start feeling guilty because it's like, oh, I shouldn't be doing all this for myself and stuff, which is again, it just contributes to ourselves depleting our cup continuously. And as I mentioned, I know for like right now being Christmas, or whether you celebrate Christmas, whether you call it holidays, or whatever you call it, but if you are celebrating some type of holiday thing at this stage of the year, and you do have family, you do have children, it's very likely that your schedule has been much busier than it normally is. So this is the thing where we are being made to believe that we can do it all, and we can do it all perfectly, and God forbid if you don't, you failed. So this is the conditioning of our society that makes us believe that well, everybody else is doing it, how comes that you can't do it, right? Which is also this illusionary perspective or illusionary belief system that especially is being forced onto women. And not trying to discredit men over here, but especially women are being put into this box where you can do it all. You can have a career, you can have a child, you can have full control over your household and have it all under control and everything. And I mean, I don't have children, I don't even have a husband, I'm totally single on my own, and there are a lot of things to take care of on daily basis, just being a human, right? So if you have children, if you have husband, and if you have children, husband, and a job and a house to take care of, and no one to help you with that, like you don't have your personal cleaner or something, or someone that does all these mundane everyday things that needs to be done, then you are pretty much a superhuman. I tell you. And I know that a lot of women would just go like, oh well, but that's just how it is. This is this is the normal. This is the new normal, right? That everybody is doing it, so it's normal. But where did all this normal got us to? Like majority of people are exhausted, overwhelmed, depleted, and this is especially being this holiday season. People are really feeling it, and a lot of people are actually becoming sick because now they have a time to pause, like, oh, finally everything is done, all the presents are wrapped, the dinner is cooked or just about to be cooked for some of you tomorrow on a Christmas day or whatever, whatever you're celebrating. If you're celebrating, if you're not celebrating, it's all good. But if there is this pressure that there is this certain pattern we need to follow, for many of people, this can be a very overwhelming time of the year. And this is what I want to bring our attention to, is that, like, why is it so hard for us as a human collective to actually take care of ourselves? Take care of our needs, where we continuously have to be doing all these things. It's like this human doing, not human being, it's a human doing. And it's also, that's another thing that's been popping up very, very often in my readings, which is this us thinking that our sense of worth and value comes from what we do, not who we are, but what we do. And for many of us, that was a coping mechanism in childhood. If we wanted an attention or our parents to appraise us or whatever, then we had to do all these things, like we had to take care of our siblings or help with the household or bring these perfect marks to home and stuff. And that created this belief system that now obviously is subconsciously running our life, that we need to do it all and we need to do it perfectly, otherwise we are not worthy of that person's love or whatever it is that you want, and you feel that I need to do all these things to deserve. And now, of course, there is this us to work towards improvement and self-growth and gathering new tools and experiences and all these kind of things. But it's just this fine line. And obviously Mercury retrograde, my brain doesn't work properly yet, but there is this thing that's been popping up for me on my radar, where we think we have to do it all, and it's impossible to do it all. But we try so hard, when we setting ourselves for failure before we even failed, because it's not possible to do it all and to do it all perfectly. And like I mentioned, especially women with children and career probably know that they cannot do 100% everything. They cannot be 100% mother and 100% career woman. Something has to give, because you only have 100%, right? But then the problem or the issue with all that is when we beat ourselves up about it, and we being judgmental towards ourselves, that we don't do more, we don't do better, we don't do it perfectly, that something didn't go exactly based on our expectations that are a projection of societal expectations and all these things. So technically what it comes down to, that when you finally do take some time off, or you do go for a massage, or you do treat yourself to something, for many people the guilt sets in. Like, Why am I rewarding myself where I have all these other things to do, or I haven't done everything, or I haven't done it all perfectly, or there are all these other things I could be doing, or whatever. And obviously me being, living the life the way I am, people can say, well, it's easy for you to say, right? You don't have kids and all these responsibilities. And I don't have them for a reason, because since I was a child, and I come from a very traditional family, I'm the oldest of four, and this is the childhood I had. I was the straight A student, but nobody I ever did was ever good enough. It was literally completely blanked out and overlooked, which astrologically I understand why that is the case and why my parents had to approach my behavior that way. Once we start understanding this thing from a higher perspective, there is a reason for it. It doesn't make it any easier for the inner child that wanted to be seen and acknowledged with my moon in the 5th house Leo, even though it is in Cancer, but it's in the 5th house. So it's like, hey, look at me. I have all this A's, I was a straight A student. I never had a childhood. Like, my childhood was exactly what most people's life is. I was either studying all the time, I was studying at school, coming home, doing my homework, studying all day, and if I wasn't studying, I was reading. I was literally never chilling, and then if I wasn't studying, reading at school, or something like that, then I was helping with my 3 younger siblings. My sister at the time, she was a baby. I mean, she's 10 years younger than I, so there was always chores, there was always things to do. Both my parents were working all the time, and I know this is many people's story, and this is what sets us up for life of in many cases suffering and struggle, because we feel that this is normal, that this is what we have to do, that we all just came here to work ourselves to the bone, and God forbid if you take a time off. Most people only take time off when they're sick, and even if you are like my mother, even then you try to do laundry or something because you can't go to work, so at least let's do something around the house. So literally the only time she really does nothing is where she really physically cannot. Otherwise, she will always keep doing something. And then when she does nothing, because she physically cannot, she beats herself up about it. And how many people can resonate with this, when we literally just drive ourselves so far until our body just shuts down and go, no, I'm not doing this anymore. And in extreme cases, this can become a terminal illness, because the body says no, it says I'm not doing this anymore. So why wait that long? Why get to that point where there are always signs? There is the tiredness, exhaustion, frustration, us have been short-tempered and having short fuse with response to other people. And then you open your inbox and there is 20 emails, and then it's this pressure. I need to reply to all these people, and all these messages are coming through, and all these people calling you. And I'm not saying not everybody's got the privilege of my situation, but are all these applications, this is necessary to have all these notifications. I don't know whether even I mean, probably most people are more tech savvy than I am, like hands up there. I'm not very tech savvy myself, but maybe some people are not even aware that they actually can turn all these notifications off, that they don't actually have to have all these things bombarding them all the time from that application. There is that video, there is that message, there is that story, whatever the hell it is, So this is the another topic that's been coming up for me, and this is something which I think is very nicely tied up to the first topic with regards to us doing too much and overstretching ourselves and then beating ourselves up about it, which is like a double war, right? Like, first we go in like 180 miles an hour. We already setting ourselves up for failure because it's not sustainable. It is not possible to live like that long term, God forbid, all your life. And then and then we fail. Obviously we fail, most of us, like most of the time, because perfection doesn't exist. It's just not possible. This kind of lifestyle is not possible. It's just, no matter what they tell you that you can have it all, you cannot have it all, because you have only 100% of the time, and you are human. And you have limitations. You need to sleep, you need to eat, you need to drink, you need to go to the bathroom. Then obviously, as being a human, you sweat, so you need to wash your clothes, and there are all these mundane things, and that's why they exist. You know, that's the Virgo, the Virgo aspect of our life, this mundane thing, which is like, making a bed, washing the dishes, and this is what is keeping us down to earth, grounding us. Which, yes, some people can pay somebody else to do it, so then they can burn even more. Which is, it's good if this is something that makes you happy. And that's the difference. If you are in a situation when you can pay someone to, or have someone that does these things for you, so you don't have to spend time doing all these mundane things that has to be done like all the time, every day, that it's just never ending pile of laundry, never ending pile of dishes. Even if you have a dishwasher, still somebody has to load it and then take the dishes out, right? There's just never ending, right? So if people use this time that then they free to do something that they enjoy, that's different. But most people then just burn the candle even further, right? And as I was saying, this was my childhood. I never had a childhood. I never had a time. And it's not like, oh, feel sorry for me now. Like, no. But now doing all this like introspection and Mercury retrograde reevaluation and redefinition, this was the normal for me. Because I was, and I'm sure a lot of people from Eastern Europe resonate, because this is how we were being conditioned. This is how our families were conditioned, how our parents, grandparents, all the ancestor line, that, well, life is hard. You need to help. You need to help your parents. I remember even now I can hear it when I go to Slovakia and, like my nephew is 3 years old. My niece is 7 years old, and already people, well, you need to help. You need to help your mom. And I'm like, yeah, it's nice, if the kids like can contribute in whatever way that they enjoy or whatever. But then to put all this burden straight away on a 3-year-old, that, well, you need to do something, right? Which is like, again, where is the fine line? Like, what is this society that we build on? I mean, I like I said, Mercury retrograde, I am not fully forming my thoughts, but I think it's especially to do with, this full moon in Cancer, and now these trines that are happening tomorrow, this Mars trine, the North Node, which is the new direction, the ruler of the North Node from the sign of Sagittarius, this expansion, new direction, trine in the North Node, and Venus as the ruler of the South Node, the resolution node. What do we need to correct? Because it's preventing our evolution, and trine in Neptune, which is like we need to let it go. This just doesn't work. So because it's Venus is the society, Venus is the other. Venus is it is the justice system and all that kind of things, but it's us people. So I think there are a lot of things that, especially now with this retrograde from Capricorn and Sagittarius, that we need to reevaluate. Even this, and I know for a lot of people it's triggering. Even for my friends it's triggering, all these things, like even how do we experience Christmas or holidays or whatever you call it, it doesn't matter. But all this stress and pressure, and every year is just escalates. Every day is just getting harder. Every day there is just more to worry about, more to stress about, and all these kind of things. And it's just like, for how long can we go on like this? Which is the other topic, like I said, that ties up to that nicely, which is this: we need to slow down, because everything is and yes, I want to bring it out, and I want to mention it. I will not be making prediction 2024 video. I know everybody is doing that, all the astrologers are doing that. I'm not gonna do that, because I am going to share some of the things that I have watched, which I found helpful, if people want to look at those, not necessarily from astrological point of view, even though it perfectly mirrors the astrology. But I because I know that there are astrologers that come up with, and again, this is not judgment, I'm just as I mentioned before, I strayed away from the traditional astrology and predictions, because it's still a way of programming. So what are you because there is, as again mentioned many times, there is not one version of the truth. So this is somebody's subjective perception of reality. Even my interpretation of astrology and aspect, I always put in the description, and I always try to mention this is my subjective perception of reality, my interpretation of things. So I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm not saying this is going to happen or not happen. But with traditional astrology, the hole you can dig for yourself is when you attach to that interpretation and think this is a holy grail. like, oh my god, this is exactly what's gonna happen, how it's gonna happen. That's why even my interpretation in many cases is very metaphorical. I don't say like, oh, there's gonna be this exact manifestation of that or whatever. I'm more talking about the energy of it, or about the potential for growth or whatever it is. But I'm not saying, well, your relationship is gonna go in this way or whatever. Like, I am not making prediction. So that's why I am very conscious of what I watch with regards to predictions. I never watch astrological predictions, by the way. I will confess, because there is so many things that can manifest from these energies, because we have 12 archetypes when it comes to zodiacal wheel, and these archetypes, they cover everything that is in reality. Like, everything is under the umbrella of one of these archetypes, right? Different areas of our life, and different subsections. And then we also know from the medical astrology each zodiacal sign and house represents certain parts of your body and stuff. So what I'm trying to say by this is, the way it might manifest and the way you can interpret it, there is unlimited amount of options how you can do that. So I understand that for a lot of people, like, watching predictions can be a good guide. And don't get me wrong, I will watch tarot predictions. I don't watch astrological predictions, but I will watch tarot predictions because it reads the energy of that moment. However, the way my brain operates is that I don't remember them. So I always have to go back after that happens. So for example, if it was a prediction for a week, I have to rewatch it at the end of the week and then go, okay, so this is how it showed up for me. Because my brain rejects predictions, because it's like, in a way, if you're watching prediction, to a certain extent, you're giving your power away, because and like I said, it depends how people approach it. Because if they approach it from the point of view that, okay, yeah, this could be a guidance or whatever, but don't hold on to it. But if people really take it as a holy grail and attach to it and then expect it to happen, then they will manifest it. And if it's something positive, good, but in many cases it's not. So then it's like, again, did it happen because it was going to happen anyway, or did it happen because you manifested it? Which way is it? So this is why, me personally, I am not going to make predictions, because I am just going to stick with the energy of the moment. I know there are a lot of people that will, so you can definitely find plenty of material to watch. And again, this is not making myself better or worse, it's just how I feel about it. However, I have already watched someone reading an energy for next year, and I'm going to share that in the upcoming week, because I really honor this person, this spiritual teacher. So anyway, but what I was trying to say with regards to what I feel with regards to the upcoming energies for 2024, apart from that being a year number 8, which is the card of strength in a tarot, and I really feel that that will be required for us to be strong. Also, strength represents the Leo, which is the sun, which is your authenticity, which is seeking your joy and your purpose. But apart from that, I really feel that what is very important, because of the Aquarius Pluto is going to, as I mentioned in my previous astrological video, Pluto is going to spend majority of the year already in Aquarius. It's going to be in Capricorn only for 2.5 months, from September till November. So there is already going to be a rapid acceleration. Next year is going to be very different from this year. And again, I don't know how that's going to manifest, but the energy is definitely there. So what I've been feeling and tapping into is that we need to learn to slow down, which is something that I've been applying into my life and testing it. And I can definitely confirm that, integrating meditation in my daily schedule, and it's a non-negotiable, even if it's just 10 minutes, it's a non-negotiable, it has to happen. And I can really see the difference if it doesn't. But this necessity to slow down and prioritize. So this is why, me personally, because I do have the privilege and I can do it, because I don't have no dependence. I turned off every single notification I have. I have not single app that is coming up with messages of notifying me of something. And then when I do have a time, I check, And if there is a message, I respond. If I don't have a time, I'm not in the right space of mind, or I haven't done my meditation, then everything else can wait. Of course, I do have my commitments, which are not happening this week because I'm not doing any readings. I'm taking a week off. But if I do have clients, then of course that's different. So I'm on the schedule with that. But apart from that, I'm trying to be more tuned into what I need, what my body needs. Like, am I tired? Like, what's going on? Do I need to go out? Do I need to move more? Do I need to eat something different? What it is that I need? And I think this is so important for where we head in, not just 2024, but when we head in, the times we heading into it. Pluto in Aquarius, there is this absolute must for slowing down internally, because world is gonna speed up. It's gonna speed up much faster. Like I said, Pluto is going to be almost fully in Aquarius in 2024, and as of November 2024, that's it. It's gonna stay there until 2043, which is when it's first going to move into Pisces and then back into Aquarius, and then it's gonna leave Aquarius in 2044. So for the next 20 years, everything's gonna accelerate massively. And then we have Uranus moving into Gemini, and Neptune into Aries, and Saturn into Aries, and these are all masculine signs. This is all air and fire. And what does air do to fire? It makes more fire, right? It's faster. So what I'm trying to say is that when everything outside of you gets faster and accelerates, you need to learn to slow down. You need to learn to slow down internally and to find that peace within, whatever that means for you, however you're going to do it, however you're going to find it. Everybody is different. I am not going to say this is what works for me, it's going to work for you. I'm just saying, how can we simplify our life? Because the world is going to get more complex. It's going to get more, it's going to get faster, it's going to get more complicated. So when this is something that is happening outside of us and outside of our control, because there's nothing I can do about it, that the world is going to get faster and things are going to go crazy and stuff like that. What can I do about it? I cannot really change it from happening. This is evolution, Pluto is in Aquarius, like the energy is gonna manifest one way or another. But what I can do is, okay, if I know all this is happening, this is not prediction. We can already see it happening. We can see our world is escalating already and getting really, really quick. Like, I mean, for how many people, like, the days are just disappearing, weeks are disappearing, even months are disappearing now. The time is so fast. It's so fast. I mean, you that have children, you probably look at them and go like, how the hell did you grow up so quickly? I remember when you were a baby or a toddler or something. So when that is taking place around us, then how are we going to respond to it without us to completely like burn out? So this is what I feel, especially with this holiday season and Mercury retrograde, and now being back in Sagittarius. So it's making us to redefine and reevaluate the truth that is creating our reality. Because as I keep saying all the time, Sagittarius comes before Capricorn, because whatever you believe, you then manifest. Because Capricorn is the sign of manifestation. That's when things become tangible. It is the cardinal sign. So it's the new direction, the new beginning of a cycle. Is the beginning of winter for us up here in the northern hemisphere, the beginning of summer for people in the southern hemisphere, even though I know I'm in Mexico, so like for me it's like in a center somewhere, not this, not that. It's just like, being in a la la land here. So that is a little bit like different, but with regards to the new direction, new beginning, new season, solstice, Yule, whatever you are celebrating or you were celebrating on the 21st, it is an opportunity to redefine what this direction means. And this is something which I've been talking about in my multiple previous videos, because of the new moon in Sagittarius, which was the seeding of the story that you want to experience next year and what it's going to look like for you. But as I also keep saying, and I feel like I just keep repeating myself in every video, in order for your environment to change, you have to change. And now I feel, especially with this holiday season, we have, and this is actually interesting, how the holiday season comes before the end of the year, because we have the opportunity also with the Capricorn sun to decide, is this actually still serving me? I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, yeah? To spend this time of the year in this way, to burn yourself out until you potentially fall sick because your immune system is down or whatever. And all this stress and all this, pressure and all this like getting yourself into debt because this is what we've been conditioned to do. And then, in January, everybody is just like feeling completely like, ugh, And I'm not saying everybody, okay, let's not generalize here because that is not correct. And it's not everybody's experience. I know there are a lot of people that are not doing that. And some people like myself are not even like celebrating anything. It's just like, yeah, great, sun is shining today. Amazing. But I'm not going to have some Christmas dinner or anything, which again, is not good or bad. I'm like, it's fantastic if people are doing that and enjoying that. I'm happy, I'm happy that people have that joy from it. But like I said, my childhood was the way I experienced it. I decided to experience the rest of my life differently and just to try it, like, okay, I come from a very strictly traditional Catholic family, so I'm going to try something different and see how that works for me. And for me personally, that works better, but that's me. I'm not saying this is for everyone. I'm just saying you need to find what it is for you. And this is why I actually, like call this this video, the gift of you and who you came here to be, like who you came here to be. Because now with all these reevaluations we are going through at the moment and having the physical manifestation of our thoughts and beliefs, which we are experiencing in a real time based on going through these everyday things and how these things are coming around, whether it's seasonal and traditional things or whether it's just, mundane experiences like coming across the same, I don't know, pattern with other people or, or whatever it is in your life that you are observing it's coming around, like, oh my God, is this situation again? Like, why is it coming around again? Because obviously there is something we need to learn and adjust. Yeah, Virgo. And funnily enough, as I also mentioned in my astrological video, which I find fascinating, is that for Christmas or holidays, as of today, Mercury, Moon is in a sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury retrograde. And at the end of the year, for the last day of the year and first day of the new year, okay, again, Moon will be in a sign of Virgo, once again ruled by Mercury retrograde, and Mercury is going to station direct on the 1st of January. So a lot of adjustments, a lot of observation, identifying, questioning, and deciding, is this what you want to be doing next year? This year that is just gone, which is, like I said, it's a perfect opportunity to actually go in a new direction if you choose to do so. I mean, I already mentioned, we have 2 new moons in Capricorn in 2024. The first lunation of 2024 and the last lunation of 2024 is the new moon in Capricorn. Why? Because you have the opportunity to redefine your life, to completely restructure it. But it will take an effort. It will take a conscious decision that this is what I want, that I am not going to be on this never-ending hamster wheel of constant stress, that there is an email I need to answer it, there is a message I need to answer it, and then you get to the end of the day and you decide and you actually acknowledge that, well, I didn't have no time for myself. I maybe forgot to eat, I forgot to go for a walk, or I didn't even stand up from my chair, or I even forgot to go to washroom because I didn't drink water all day, so I didn't need to, or whatever it is. So with this Capricorn and being earth sign, actually Capricorn, because it's ruled by Saturn, it's got a bad rap. But Capricorn is actually a feminine energy. It's an earth sign. And Capricorn is an opportunity to ground these intentions because we putting them into manifestation. So what are we manifesting? And what is the gift that you are bringing with yourself, and who did you come here to be with regards to, do you know who you are? Which is what I was talking about in my Cancer full moon video. Do we actually know who we are? Do we know what we want? Do we know what we value? Or are we continuously on the hamster wheel and we don't even have a time to just sit down and actually to feel into all of this? Because there is all this pressure. There is all this program isn't always running, there is no end to it. There will be always more to do. There will be always more to sort out. There will be always more laundry, more dishes, more responsibilities, more this, more that. There will be always more messages, more videos to watch. always more and more and more, and things are escalating, so there's gonna be even faster and more. So like I said, when things are speeding up around you, you need to slow down within you and find that peace and decide, am I the version of myself that I want to be? Am I happy? And is this the life that I want to be living? And if not, what changes can I make? What actually will have to go because something's gonna give? Because there is only 100% of my time every day, only 24 hours. So how am I spending those? And I know people with, responsibilities and dependence and stuff, it's not as easy and cookie cut and black and white as it is for someone in my life, in my reality, where I don't have these responsibilities and the dependence. But there is something that we can do on a small scale. Like, I don't know, you just take 15 minutes, half an hour, for yourself, and you make it a priority that, okay, this half an hour or whatever it is, it's my time, my time, when you are not mother, where you are not wife, where you are not an employee or citizen or whatever, you are just but you need to find out what it is. And then when you have these 15 minutes or half an hour or whatever every day, and you make yourself a priority, after 1 week, after a few weeks, after 1 month, you will have a much better idea about who you are and what you came here to do, because you'll have an opportunity to just slow down and observe yourself and then decide, why was I even doing all of that? Was it actually important? And now that potentially I am not doing that, or I don't have time to do that, is it such a bad thing? And this is what I mean. There's going to be a lot of adjustments that we have to take, because our lives are so busy, so full, mine included. I can fill my day no problem, just with a lot of things to do, right? But I had to start prioritizing the time when I'm not doing anything. And actually now my body is craving that. It's like, okay, well, when am I going to sit down for this meditation when I can just do nothing? I can just do nothing. And how people say, well, I don't have the luxury. Actually, what's the funny thing? When we are being conditioned and made to believe that self-care is selfish, that you taking care of yourself and putting yourself first and making yourself a priority is selfish. But actually, it's much more selfish not doing that. Because if you're not doing that, then actually you are expecting other people to do it for you. Or if you're not doing it for yourself and other people are not doing it for you, and you deplete yourself, then who's going to take care of your responsibilities? So that's what I mean. If you actually do take care of yourself, that means that then you have the energy to take care of everything else. But if you do take care of everything else without taking care of yourself, eventually you're going to run out of steam and gas. And then who's going to take care of that other things? In this case, for example, your children, right? Like, people know when they get sick, or, for example, they bedbound, and then, God forbid, you are a single mother, and then you go, oh my God, who's going to pick up my kid from the kindergarten or something? And then you have to rely on all these other people, where I'm not saying that, okay, well, if I take care of myself, I'll never get sick. I'm not saying that, but we need to start taking better care of ourselves, and it's not selfish, it's necessary. It's the strength. Actually, in tarot, strength, a card also represents your physical body. So I feel the year 8 is going to be very important for your physical resiliency. So yes, obviously our mental resiliency, so being able to tune things down and make a peace, not make a peace, but create a peace in your life, but also to be able to be strong physically, take care of yourself, make sure you sleep enough, you eat well, you give yourself enough movement, because if the body doesn't move all day, it's all stiff and, cramped up, and then you need to go to for a massage or a chiropractor, or you have all sorts of ailments or whatever. So that's what I mean, and nobody can do this for you. So that's what I mean, us not taking care of ourselves, that's actually selfish. Because who else is going to do it for you? Like, you need to take care of yourself, and then you can take care of everyone else. And also, like, I can see it in myself when I first came to spend time with my family in the summertime, and I was, my cup was full, I was because I was taking care of myself in Bulgaria, even though I was working a lot, but I had my own space, so I wasn't depleted by all these other people's demands and expectations and energy nonstop. And then when I came to Slovakia, first I was okay, I was able to cope because my tank was still full. So I could, be patient and playful with my nephews and, designate more time for them. But the more time went on, 1 month later, it was not the case because I completely abandoned myself. I had no time to meditate whatsoever while I was in Slovakia because it was either I work or, my environment felt the necessity to fill my schedule with other things. And I allowed that because this is the conditioning, because like I mentioned again previously, I'm sure a lot of people can recognize this pattern that when you go back to your parents' place or like this family environment, we put the same mask on. It's so easy to fall back into the same role, to put the same mask on that you worn when you were in that situation or in that environment previously. It's just very subconscious how it happens. So when I was in Slovakia, I didn't make myself a priority. And then 1 month later, I was very snappy. I was very short of temper. I was angry all the time. And it was my responsibility. It's not somebody else's responsibility. It's my responsibility to set up the boundaries and say, no, I need time for myself. Like, sorry, because if I don't take time for myself, I have no time for anyone else. And I understand, again, that everybody's situation is unique and not everybody has the privilege. But I mean, come on, there must be half an hour or something of a day that you can just spend with you, even if it means waking up half an hour earlier or whatever. I mean, rather than, and again, this is not judgment, but I know so many people just spend hours and hours trying to numb themselves in front of the television because they're just too tired to do anything else. But, like, how about, like, doing something for yourself instead? And I mean, yes, for some people, like, watching these things is like they feel that it's doing something for themselves. But I mean, if this is on daily basis and is not always food for our mind that is nourishing, then again it starts affecting us in a way that is not necessarily making us more nourished and loved and work in a more effective be here in a more effective way. So all this said, like again, something that I've talked about previously, we are all unique and we all came here to offer something that is a representation, is an extension of you, is that Leo, is that creative self-actualization. Again, the strength card represents Leo, represents self-actualization, authenticity. Be strong enough to be able to do this, to give it to yourself. So we are all unique and we came here to offer something that is unique to the world because it comes from you. Nobody is going to do it exactly the same way as you do it because you do it the way that is an extension of you, of your energy, right? So how can we find out what it is, what it is that we came here to do? Well, first we need to slow down and give ourselves time, to actually get to know ourselves. Like, this is what the North Node in Aries is trying to teach us. Because for many people, again, they will go, oh, Aries, they're all selfish because they're like kids, they just think about themselves. But right now, with North Node being in Aries, and everybody is like pointing to like Mars, right today is trining, tomorrow actually on the Christmas day, trining the North Node, pointing to Aries and Chiron in Aries. It's saying that, well, but maybe we got to the point in our evolution when this is actually necessary. Like, which is again the balance and imbalance. Like, we've gone too much into the imbalance of the other side, the Libra, the people pleasing, the putting everybody else first, and then getting upset and resentful when somebody doesn't reciprocate. But they're not obliged. Because you are your responsibility. Unless you are a 5-year-old, and then of course you are your mother's responsibility and your father's. But if you are anything over 18-year-old or 21, depending which part of the world you live in and what is it considered as to be an adult, you are your own responsibility. Like, nobody else is responsible for you. Like, you have people to help you and support you on your journey, but you are your own responsibility. So this is what I mean. It's also our responsibility to take care of ourselves And through taking care of ourselves, we can then help and support others. And also by taking care of ourselves and loving ourselves and getting to know ourselves and our needs, and just on our inner world, our moon, that's how you're going to really find out your purpose. Because your purpose is to be you, but how are you going to know what it is if you don't even know who you are? So how are we going to discover the gift of you and that what you came here to be if you don't have a time for that? Because life is too busy, there's too much to do, there always will be too much to do. And this is also a story, and I mean, I'm telling myself the same story, don't get me wrong, I'm as guilty as everybody else that potentially might be doing the same thing. Yeah, I keep saying I'm too busy, I don't have time. And then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is the same thing as predictive astrology, which is what I started with. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because I say I'm busy, so I am busy, because whatever is your belief, you find a proof for it. So then I find a proof for that, oh yeah, I have all these things to do. But is it necessary? Does it have to be done right now? Is it a priority right now? Is it actually more important to me sitting in front of the computer for the next 3 hours? Or is it more important for me to go and have a breakfast? Or just to go and have a quick walk, or, whatever, spend time in the nature? Whatever it is for you, because only you know what makes you happy. Nobody else knows. You can ask other people for their opinion, but you decide whether that resonates with you or not. So what I was trying to say with this Aries and Libra, and that perhaps now it is a time to be selfish, because we went into the opposite extreme of being so in the other side. So, I mean, yeah, you could say like selfless, but it's not even selfless. It's just selfish in a different way. Not in a way that we are being conditioned, because we are being conditioned to believe that if you do for yourself, you're selfish. But if you do for others, then you're a good person, right? But is that really the truth, right? Because like I said, if you do all these things for other people with an agenda or subconscious intention that, okay, if I do all this for you, you will reciprocate, then you do it for me. Then, why don't you just do it for yourself? I mean, yes, we cannot do everything for ourselves, but there has to be a balance. So that's why now with the North Node in Aries, it's going the other extreme, where more and more people are actually starting to put more attention on themselves. They're starting to walk the path of self-discovery, because if you want to change the direction, like I said, if you want to create a new reality, you need to become a different person. You need to change. And with the Aries, the cycle is beginning all over again, because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and everything always goes in the circles. So again, these are the main topics that's been coming up for me this week, especially with this, again, the stories, a lot of stories coming up to the surface, and a lot of opportunities to actually question the stories. Is this still the truth? Is it my truth? Is it the truth that I want to be believing next year? With regards to how we do things, how we prepare for things, how the stories we tell ourselves, like me, I'm too busy, I don't have time, or I don't have space in my life for a partner or something. Like, these are all stories, and many of them still work for me. This is the thing. It's your story. It's your truth. So you decide, is it working for you? Are you happy? Because that's another thing. When people say like, oh yeah, I really would like to meet someone. Like, do you think I'm going to meet someone next year? They ask me, and I'm like, well, it's up to you. It's not up to me. It's not up to me if you're going to meet someone, because it's all about energy. If you open yourself up for it, and again, many people might think that this is what I want, but then if you're not having it, then obviously you don't, there is something inside of you that is actually benefiting from you not having it. And if most people actually, after they get over the initial trigger and shock that how can you say that to me, if people actually are being really honest with themselves and sit with that, then they will realize that there is actually something that they're really gaining from not having what they want, and it's actually benefiting them. And there is an aspect of them that is really scared of having what they want. But it's just easier to keep saying, I want this, but oh, maybe it's not meant to be, or maybe I am not meant to have it, or is it not the right time or something. And like I said, I'm living the same stories, this is the story that I still keep saying to myself, that no, I'm too busy, I don't have time for a man in my life, like I don't even know where I want to live, I don't know where I'm going to be next month. Well, hopefully still here, but who knows, it's very difficult to make solid plans in this time and age when everything is changing all the time. But that's what I mean, like there is an opportunity for you to question the stories. And for many people, this also means that they just have to spend more time for themselves. They need to maybe prioritize themselves over other people in their life, which, like I said, this there is no a set formula how this is for people, because people's lives and their situations are unique. So it's like, okay, well, I have kids, I cannot go and spend 1 week on my own just to take care of me or something. So this is the variables where people need to adjust it to their living circumstances. But for people who have the privilege and the ability to take more time for themselves, to spend with themselves, to actually decide how do they feel about their life, how do they feel about themselves, and is this what they still want, and what it is that they came here to be, to become, because the seed is within you. You came here with a purpose. And if you don't feel happy with your life and you feel continuously angry and frustrated and just feel like the same stuff, the same BS is coming around, and why is this happening to you, then you are off the track, like you obviously not, fulfilling your purpose right now, in a sense that that is quite incorrect, and I'll take it back, because for people sometimes that is part of the purpose, to have that experience, to have that lesson. And your purpose is to be you, to show up every day as you. And maybe the experience you need to have right now is to have that experience of being frustrated, unhappy, tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, all this. But in essence, Leo and the purpose, because it's the same archetype, it represents the childlike excitement and innocence and motivation and passion. So when people really start living their purpose, and actually it's interesting because I had this conversation with my friend yesterday, and both our lives completely fell apart and were being rebuilt in the past year. Like also she lost her job and she had to move out, and she didn't have to move country, but she, it was very similar situation like mine, minus the broken relationship. But her life also completely transformed, even like in the last 4 months really. And she's the happiest she has ever been. And she could have never seen that 1 year ago. She wouldn't even know this existed, this situation she finds herself like right now, because once she stopped resisting that change, which was like universe just took away what she actually didn't want, but it was keeping her comfortable, it was keeping her safe, like a job, yeah, it was paying the rent, it was paying the bills, it wasn't what she wanted, it wasn't necessarily even what she enjoyed, but it helped her to get by and to, to be able to do other things on the side. But she stopped having enough time to do the other things because there was still this job to take care of, right? And then universe just took it away. It just took it away. The job was no more. And then she found herself in a situation where she was like, and now what? So she had to start trusting herself and believing in herself and go like, okay, well, I'm going to fully dedicate to my craft, to this thing that I love doing, that I enjoy doing. And now 6 months later, 9 months later, whatever, things fell into place in a way she could have never, ever foresee. So what I'm trying to say by this, and it's the same thing that happened for me within the past year, 6 months even, that when you actually answer the call of destiny and follow that purpose, then things somehow they do fall into place. They do fall into place. Usually the more that we are out of alignment with ourselves and our purpose, and we try to stream up the river, go against the stream, and there is all this resistance and it's such a hard work and stuff, then that's usually where life is hard. Life is hard, but most people that actually found what is their purpose, and I know that again, people try to like glorify the word purpose. Like, okay, but what is my purpose? Well, who know? Only you know what makes you happy. What makes you happy? Whatever makes you feel inspired. There is that thing that you're very good at that makes you feel inspired, and actually is no trouble, is no issue. You know, like, and some people say, well, I can't, I can't draw, I can't sing, I can't dance, I'm not an actress. I don't know, you know, I'm not a doctor or something, but I don't know, maybe you bake the best cookies, or maybe you're really good with dogs, or maybe you are really good in a garden, you know, like you love talking to your flowers, or whatever it is, you know, there is this something that's, everybody has something that they really love doing, that they really enjoy, and they're really good at, and it gives them a sense of joy and pleasure. So we just need to find, okay, how can I get paid for this? So I actually can do it for a living, and then I don't have to, or how can I implement more of this into my life? And then eventually things will start falling into place. One thing leads to another, and this is the synchronicities and serendipities. And that's what I mean. Once we open ourselves up for that, and have the trust the universe, like literally make it a non-negotiable, which again, I understand not everybody has the privilege and is in a situation when they can afford to do that. Like, yeah, I'm just quitting my job because I don't care who's gonna pay the bills and buy food for my children, you know, don't care. This is not what I'm saying, but there must be a way to start making small steps towards, you know, towards a life that actually would make you feel happier. Like I said, you can just start with, okay, I'm going to take 15 minutes every day just for me to do something that I enjoy, whatever that is, and then half an hour, and then 1 hour, whatever it is, whatever you can spare, but make it a non-negotiable. Make it something that you can automatically look forward to and say, like, yeah, this is the time for me. And this is how am I going to get closer to myself, learn about myself, to discover the gift that I am and the gifts that I have to offer. And by me giving this to myself as a gift, this time to me, I then have more to give. And you will notice that you will have more to give. You'll be much happier, you'll be much more balanced, much more stable, that things will not you know, like trigger you as fast, or you'll be much, or if they do, you'll be much faster to find your equilibrium and stuff. And it's a process, it's a step-by-step process. So again, I'm not an expert in anything, so you know, you can just take from what I said here what resonates with you and leave behind the rest. But there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things coming to the surface. Like I said, we had the Venus in opposition with Uranus this week on a solstice, and this for sure would have brought some stuff to the surface of our consciousness, just like Mars did in Scorpio season when it opposed Uranus on 11/11, because things are fracturing. Things are fracturing in our reality on the outer world and on our inner world. Things are being dismantled. My teacher, astrology teacher, he calls it the decentralization. Things are being decentralized in the microcosm and in the macrocosm. Nothing is solidly held together anymore. So this is a beautiful opportunity in a sense. When we get over the fear of the unknown, it's a beautiful opportunity to completely rebuild your life and turn it into the life that you actually would enjoy much more, because it will be in alignment with who you are and what matters to you, whatever that is for you. You know, maybe it's to have exactly the life you have right now, which is perfect. So anyway, guys, I have to bring this to close because I've been talking for too long, and as always, I don't know if this even makes sense, but these are the main things that have been coming up for me. And also this necessity for slowing down and prioritizing and simplifying, because things are going to get faster, more complicated, more confusing. So we have to go in the opposite direction to balance it. There always has to be a balance. Okay, and just to again remind everyone that I actually have a Christmas offers coming up. Actually, they valid as of today, 24th. I already changed the prices on my website. I posted a story on my social media. I will be posting more about it throughout the week because it's valid until January 1st, until the first day of the new year. So if you feel that you would benefit with some astrological guidance or guidance with the cards or or something, then you can find all my offerings on my website, and most of my services at the moment are 20% off. So yeah, so if you would like to get in contact, then reach out. I wish you all a beautiful, whatever you're celebrating, or if you're not celebrating anything, then just have a beautiful day, have a beautiful week. If you are celebrating, then happy holidays, or whatever it is that it is for you. And yeah, like I said, I'll be taking a week off, so I'm not sure how much I'll be posting during this period of time, but I will speak to you again soon. Much love, everyone, and bye for now.